Are we good? So welcome to YouTube. Well, I can't welcome YouTube. You're already on YouTube. Welcome me to YouTube. So we've had a lot of people that have reached out and said, look, you should do a full documentary on what it is that you're trying to achieve here, because it seems so stupid, so monumentally stupid, that at least let people watch the process. So here we are. Literally to the day 1 year ago, we lost this car to a fire. Completely burnt out. Now the fire was not going for very long. Something like 7 minutes between it starting, and fortunately for us, the fire brigade came to quench the fire. Since then, here at Trackworks in Birmingham, the chassis has been completely disassembled. We have sent it off for a complete, it's like a 3-week process, 1 week acid bath dipping process, and then it's been completely not painted but covered, coated, dipped into a protective coating. Very, very thin, but it prevents any rust from resurfacing, essentially. Rust is now gone. In episodes to come, we are going to talk about, well, we're going to be doing the installation, but here, seeing as though this is an episode for the tube of views, we should make this a little bit longer than just an Instagram reel, right? So let's talk about what we're going to be putting into this car, and then over the next coming episodes, you're going to see us actually doing it. So if we start from front to back, and I might even try and insert some pictures here, but I've had 2 months to think about what body kit we were going to do with this. Initially, I was going to do it the exact same way as it was before, and then to myself, I thought, well, if we're going to rebuild this thing, why not do something completely crazy? And I went completely crazy. I went there. So we sourced a company that create the original panels from a Ferrari F40 LM. We've done a lot of renderings and overlays. The real base is actually identical, almost bar half an inch. But there's differences in the length of the rear end of the Ferrari and the front of it as well. So we've ruled that out. We're not doing that. It would have been sick. The major difference, if you're interested, and I'll happily dive into more of this, is essentially this part here. The chassis are the same length, the same width, but this is the difference. The roofline of an F40 versus an S13 180SX, if you're wondering, goes to about there. And this is where we'd have to start stretching panels and bridging gaps that weren't really there. And then it just becomes a kit car, and I wasn't interested in doing that. So we're going to do most likely the exact same body kit as we did before, which is, I think it's a BN front, D-Max bonnet. We had Vertex side skirts before, Origin back bumper. It's always been a bit of a mix of body kits. We're going to do, the differences this time is we're going to do see-through doors. See-through doors are coming back. So we're going to do the exact same as we did before. So we've steel doors that we cut out, and then we have already created by Moose Design in Cork, Ireland, or Mallow, Ireland to be exact. We have CNC cut skins, Perspex skins 3mm that we'll put over the doors. We're probably not going to run the see-through roof. The see-through roof is something I had before as well, but in all honesty, the difficulty is whenever it is any bit sunny outside, that becomes an oven inside, and it's already been through enough heat. But for me as a driver, when you're sat inside a drift car, the roof shields you from the sun and from the heat. So we're probably going to do either a fiberglass or ideally a carbon roof skin. If you know of anyone that does either, please let me know. That'll be approximately the same weight. The rear hatch was steel before, is now going to be fiberglass. The car was 1,028 kilo before, wet. And we think that with what we've lost in terms of the dipping process, I think we have lost a little bit of weight. We're also going to be running a plastic for performance 5-window kit. We opted to not run the polycarbonate windshields just because I'm still weary about it being scratched by wipers and whatnot. That would have been a little bit lighter. But 5mm windows, 3mm quarter glass, and 3mm hatch glass. I say glass, it's not glass, obviously it's plastic. Engine wise, we're going to run a built SR20. We're going to run turbo and gate by TurboSmart. We're going to be running a complete Haltech package, which I'm really excited about. From the wiring, which is going to be done in Cork in Ireland, at O'Connell Automotive. He will hate me saying that because he hates doing it. He doesn't want to do it, but because he did this for me before, he reached out and said he'd love to do it again, right? Now, love is probably a harsh or an exaggerated word, but he wants to do that again, which I will absolutely take him up on. We'll run the new Haltech large screen on the inside. Engine we are going to be sending down to Dave Yandel, DY Engines, here in the UK, which is going to be great for us because he is probably the master at rebuilding these things. Engine is good, it's fine. Right now we have the old transmission, which was a CD09. We dropped it off today actually down to Garage D, along with the diff for inspection. So they're going to be completely inspected and rebuilt if necessary. But we're probably going to change the transmission. Right now we're down selecting which one we want to use. But a dream of mine for this car has always been to have a sequential transmission. So that's what we're going to try and go for. So if you're in the market for a brand new CD09 transmission with adapter plate and prop shaft, give me a bell. 2-way adjustable coilovers, Wisefab V2 kit front, full Wisefab back as well, which is something I never ran. In all my drift cars, I've only ran Wisefab front and basically an old school JDM style rear, just arms essentially. So we're changing that this time to get more grip. The other car had a lot of grip, or the car before had a lot of grip. This is going to have even more, which is what I want. Fuel cell we have sourced already. That's going to slot back into where it was before. That's a Group D fuel cell, 30 litre. And seats on the inside, we're going to have carbon Corbeau seats, Revenge on driver's side, Pro Series on passenger side. We have the new Wisefab e-brake. Obviously we'll have fire suppression system, electrical kill switch as well, to just be nice and tidy. Would like to run a keypad on the tunnel as well. Rear, I've always ran fiberglass rear lights on this because obviously it's a drift car, but if Kevin Quinn hasn't robbed them all, I'd like to try and get myself a set of cookie lights for the back. It would just tidy it up nicely. And that's kind of it. I think what we need to do next now is the dipping process has obviously revealed all of the little areas where we have holes in the chassis that were there before. We just didn't know they were there before. Obviously with all of the layers of factory filler and seam seal and whatnot, which is all gone now through the fire and then the dipping process, we have to do a little bit of fabrication just to make it look nice essentially. All the core components are in absolutely perfect condition. We actually fitted some rear lights and the center section only about an hour ago, and they fit in perfectly. I might try and slot in a picture right here. What else am I thinking of? Grip Royal steering wheel, obviously lubricated completely by Mobil 1, by Burke Lubricants in Ireland. I'm running a Nissan R33 GTST front and rear caliper setup with drilled and grooved discs, which is something I didn't have before. They were OEM discs, which are a ton weight. So we're going to run drilled and grooved to lose a bit of weight there. Mintex brake pads. What else am I thinking of here? Lights, obviously we'll run the same projector lights as we did in the front as well. But now really begins the metal fabrication part. We have 2 weeks from today, which I think is the 9th of March. by the time we get the other components back, we have the rear subframe is already done. We just need some wheel bearings for the Wisefab. We need solid bush kit for the subframe. And then we're ready to start putting stuff together. So we're going to completely dry build the chassis, bar the wiring and things like brake lines, most likely, because we're going to take everything apart again and then send it off for paint. A good friend of mine, a long-term friend of mine, Nathan Chivers, has reached out, and I'll insert some images here of his car. He's a beautiful S15. He and his company have graciously reached out and said they wanted to paint the whole car. So I have in my mind decided what color I want to go with this, but feel free to drop a comment as to what you think it should be it a livery or... I'm thinking of not running a livery on this car. I'm thinking that the ironic thing about when we had the fire last year was meant to be the last year I used this car for official or work purposes, if you will. This was going to be retired, it was going to be mine forever, and I was going to take it out for really cool events like Drift Matsuri and all this kind of stuff. And then unfortunately this happened, and ironically as well, it happened a week before we were about to launch the new livery and the new partnerships we had last year. So that wasn't ideal. So this was always, the dream of mine was always, when this was painted the first time, was just gunmetal grey inside outside with the teal cage. And it was always going to be brought back to a single colour. And now I think I want it to live the rest of its time in a single colour. Maybe there might be a couple of decals. Oh, well, of course, there will be partner decals on the car, but that's about it. What else on the inside? We're going to run OEM pedals. The E92 is the car that we built all the crazy stuff on. I want OEM pedals in this thing because I love it. Probably an S15 dash, just the top half in fiberglass or carbon. Again, just for aesthetics, but also to keep the weight down. And that's it. Those are my main targets are, and let's see if I can list them out, of a dream drift car of mine is SR20, nigh on 500 horsepower, sequential transmission, digital screen. That was always something I wanted. And the fourth and most important thing to me was being able to see how much fuel I have in the fuel cell on the dash. That was always the main thing. As a drifter, there's always the, have you enough fuel for one more run? So those are going to be the key components. So as we rebuild this, we're going to take you on the journey. And yeah, I'm sorry, this is probably a really boring video of me just talking to you the entire time, but that's it. Are we more than 10 minutes? Oh, great. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is episode number 1. Follow the behind the scenes stuff as we document it on Insta as well, at Peden249. And yeah, please, I mean, look, I'm not a YouTuber and I'm not going to be a YouTuber, but please give it a like, give it a comment, whether you think this is crazy or not, which is a lot of people have told me that it is, or whether you think it's cool. Either way, let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. This is the rebuild of the 249 SX.